This is the React application which is currently running on AWS Elastic Beanstalk. How I deployed it here, let me just tell you that. Step by step, we will go through each and everything written here in this notepad file. So I launched an EC2 server on AWS, okay, and it's a free tier T2.micro server, which you can see over here. Then I installed Node.js using this command. Okay, so what you have to do is after creating this server, you just have to fire these commands the way they are written, okay, in the same sequence. Then you have to start the Docker service like this, okay, and once that is done, you can come down and then you can create a React application through this command. I hope you guys are familiar with this command. If not, that this is something which is used for creating a React application, okay, through npx. Now you have to cd into this my React. This is the application which got created on the server, okay, and when the application will get created, you will find this src public package lock.json, package.json, readme.md, inside this root directory. Then you can simply create a Docker file, which is one of the mandatory steps if you are if you want to host your React application through Docker on Elastic Beanstalk on AWS. Okay, once the Docker file gets created, you can simply build the image of it, and then you can simply run the container. And this is how you'll be able to access the application through the IP address of the Linux server over the internet. Okay, successfully created. Now let me just run this application. So it has started and I can access it on port number 80. So what I have to do is I have to come here on this one, and this is the IP address. I need to remove this S here. So the application is currently accessible. See, like modified the app.css file, app.js file also. That's the reason this kind of a page is coming. Next thing is we need to install the AWS CLI. So these are the 3 commands that you can fire one by one for installing the AWS CLI. And after that, you can do AWS configure. So AWS access key. See, it is asking for the access key. Okay, and it is then asking for the secret access key. It is asking for the default region. Right. So why I've simply pressed enter? Because I have already entered the access key, secret access key, everything when I configured this AWS on the Linux server. Now, how you will get this access key and secret access key? Let me show you that over here. So you have to come here in this IAM user of AWS, and here you have to create a user first. How you will do it? Simply come here on users and then do a create user. Okay, here you can type a random name like this, then do a next, and then you can attach policies directly. So whatever administrative policies are there, like administrator access, amplify, these 3 policies you can add, and then you can simply click on next and your user will get created. Okay, now once you're done with creating the user, what is the next thing? So you have to come here in the users dashboard, and then you can click on the username which you have created. Fine, here you will find create access key. Okay, so now you have to choose command CLI, and then you can give a confirmation, come on next, and here you can do create access key simply. Okay, and it will give you both the things on a separate window. Now these 2 things which it will give you, the access key and the secret access key, you can save somewhere, right? It will then ask you about the region and the output format. So for the output format, you can select JSON, and for the region, you can select the region in which you will create the user, in which you have created the user. Okay, it's very simple. Now what's the next thing? Sudo yum install Python. So it's time for us to install Python. This is a command that you can use for doing the same. Then you can install AWS EBCLI. So this is the main thing here. Okay, because this, if you want EB commands to work on your Linux server, then you need to have this AWS EBCLI installed on the Linux server. This is the command with which you can easily install it, and then you can export the path for setting the environment variables path. Then you can check the EB version here like this. Okay, so this is what I am using, and once you're done with checking it, you can simply come inside your React app. Okay, I'm already inside it, you can see. Then do EB init. This is what happens when you fire this EB init command. Now I'm going to select this first region because here the Elastic Beanstalk works really good. It is asking me to select an application to use. So my application's name is my React app. If you don't see this, when you are doing EB init, you can simply pass a name. But for me, I'm going to select one. It appears you're using Docker. That is correct. So I'm going to say yes. And then I have to select the platform I want to host my application on. I would like to select one. And then do you want to do SSH? Yes, I would like to do SSH also. Select a key pair. So if you don't see a key pair here, you can create your own. Fine. By selecting two. For example, let me just go to this two here. Type a key pair name. So Elastic Beanstalk. Okay. Enter a phrase. So I'm entering a phrase. Same phrase I have to enter again. Enter the phrase. Okay. Fine. So my SSH key has got created, with the help of which I can, log into the EC2 server. Okay. Now what is the next step? Next step is EB create env. Sorry, I want to create an environment. So this command will create an environment with name React env for me on AWS using Elastic Beanstalk. So whatever is required for my application to run on AWS, like load balancer, EC2 instance, security groups, networking, every single thing, this simple command will do. This is the command. Okay, now my environment is ready and its name is React-env, and it's a Elastic Beanstalk environment which consists of all these things. Okay, it has auto scaling group in it, it has EC2 instances, it has CloudWatch, load balancer. Fine. Now what is the next thing? It's deployment of the application. So I'm already inside this my React app. If you see, now I'm going to just do EB deploy and let's see what's going to happen. So if you see here, the deployment has got successful, and I haven't got any link here. So for that, I can simply do EB status and it will give me a link. So this is the one through which I can access my application on the browser. Okay, so I am able to access the application on the browser right now. Now let me just show you something here. See, this is the gitignore file which is doing the magic for us. So if when you fire the EB deployment command and this gitignore file doesn't get created automatically for you, maybe possible that over here you may get error like Docker file is not present. Even if the Docker file is there inside the root application, you may get an error like this when you will fire this EB deploy command. Now what is the solution of that problem? So the solution is you can create an gitignore file or an ebignore file on your local like this. Okay, this is the ebignore file, and these are the things that you have to keep inside this file. Okay, now what you have to do here is you can simply come here and you can upload these files, ebignore file and this gitignore also if you want, over here in your inside your root directory, and that will 110% solve the issue of Docker file missing. So this is what I wanted to show you guys in this lecture. These are all the steps which you can find here in the notepad file. Now it's time for us to see the last command, which is EB terminate React env, terminate the environment you have created, and this is how you can do it. So I'm terminating it at present. It is asking me to give the name of the environment, so it will take a couple of minutes. Let's see. Successfully deleted, right? It has been terminated by the command which I fired some while back. Okay, and now if I'm trying to access the application, see, it's not accessible. But on my IP address also it's not accessible. Why? Because I've stopped the Docker command. I can again initiate it just by firing this one, and if I'll do a refresh, so the application is accessible, but it is coming from the Docker, not from Elastic Beanstalk. That is it from my side in this lecture. Bye bye, take care, and have a great day, guys.